We are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and you are welcome. I know that all of you out there have been just dying all week. Sunday, Monday, the anticipation was building.
Yes.
Tuesday and Wednesday, you just couldn't take it anymore. You're like, Thursday, I need to hear two Christians and I need to hear them talk about politics. And I need to hear it right now. Well, wait no more. It is Thursday. And welcome to Two Christians and a Mic, or Superior Worldview Politics. We don't know what the show's called yet. I'm Jeremiah Campana. If you notice my host, Alex, he has gotten a haircut.
Changed.
He shaved his beard,
Yep.
trimmed it into a mustache, and changed his name to Joel Settecase.
Much. Well, whether it's an improvement or not, we'll let the audience decide.
We'll let the audience decide. Audience, let us know, does Alex look better as Joel Settecase? Let us know in the chat. We'll make sure to pass the information along. But Joel,
That's right.
Thank you for joining me, man. How are you doing tonight?
Bro, I'm doing so good. And let me just do a quick plug, because if anyone's on Twitter, like sometimes people do different things at different times. Are on X, the Think Institute right now is in the March Madness Reformed podcast bracket, and we're going up against Presbycast. So if I could just do this shameless plug, go over to Twitter, vote for the Think Institute, and make us win this thing, because we're just a small little podcast, but it'd be nice to win. There's like cool prizes. But anyway, it's just about promoting good podcasts. Is yours on there, by the way? Oh, no. It's just for the Reformed. It's just for the
only
Reformed.
for the Reformed.
That's right.
They don't let these crazy Christian Zionists on there for some reason. I don't know. It's like they like we're all Paula White or something.
Well, hey, listen, your words, man. Your words.
Touche. All right. So, Joel, thank you for promoting that. Go, if you're here, hit the like button. First of all, subscribe to both of our channels if you're not already, and share the show with everyone you know, especially people you've just met, people you just met yesterday. Share the show with them. Joel Settecase does. He's a master, let me be careful here, debater, like my co-host, my normal co-host, Alex, and he is constantly just dunking and slamming and destroying atheists. My words, not his. But he's also does a phenomenal job of sharing the gospel. So make sure you go and check out that channel. By the way, we do have our first comment about does Alex look better as Joel? About the same. So
okay. Hey, listen, I'll take that. That's great. It's fantastic.
So yeah, let's listen. I know we typically start off the show before we dive into the deep stuff, right? Because politics can get a little heavy, and sometimes on the show we do get a little heavy. So we like to start off with a little lighter mood, if you will. So I did peruse the internet and find some good funny videos today. Actually, the first one I'm about to share with you, Joel, I don't know if it's funny, but it is interesting. Let me share my. Look, Alex usually does the screen shares here, so y'all folks are gonna have to bear with me as I figure out how to run the show by myself here without Alex.
We were talking about this off screen, but he's so good at it. I almost said at his job, but at what he does, man. Like all the behind the scenes stuff. I mean, he truly is very good at that stuff. So I feel your pain, because you got me on today and I don't do any of that stuff. So it's like,
no, I'm just, and by the way, for you folks watching, Alex was supposed to be the one. So we alternate who prepares the show. So I'll prepare it one week. I'll pick all the news stories we're going over and all that. And then Alex will do it the next week. Well, this was Alex's week to prepare the show, and he canceled just a few hours ago. He had some family stuff come up. So I'm like, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. So we're just doing a grab bag here, but let's start off with this first. Joel, I don't know what to think about this. Canada is insane right now. Yeah. Sick and tired of your wife? Just have her euthanized. Husband in Canada with caregiver burnout had wife euthanized, bro.
What?
Bro,
wait a minute. I think I saw this. Is it an elderly couple?
Yes, a woman named only as Mrs. B in her 80s. Okay, so she is an elderly couple, recently undergone coronary artery bypass surgery, experiencing complications, required a specialist treatment and more surgical procedures. She decided to stop the treatment and opt for care. She asked MAID. I assume that's Canada's version of Medicaid or something.
Yeah. MAID is medical assistance in dying. That's what that is.
So she asked, but then changed her mind, saying it violated her religious beliefs. Good for her. But her husband thought otherwise, brought her to the hospital, and was noted by staff to be experiencing caregiver burnout. So if you're just burnt out on taking care of your wife in Canada, Joel, you can just end her life.
You know what? Did you share that screen? Because I couldn't see it. Did you share it?
I did.
You may have. It might have come up on yours, but not on mine. Because I'm just looking at the StreamYard feed.
Let me double check.
Okay,
just to make sure.
I actually found the article. I don't know if you can see this. Oh no, you can't see it. No, that's right. Probably you can't see it either.
There we go. I wasn't sharing it.
Okay.
See, this is why Alex was.
This is why you need XXX, man.
This is why you need XXX on here. So we, someone in the chat.
Hey.
This is why I'm. Oh, there's Alex. Hey,
look who's here,
jerk.
Look who's here. The prodigal son has returned home.
This is why I'm not an organ donor, by the way. Me too. Same. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Well, that's another conversation. I didn't put it on my driver's license because for that reason. And I'm actually, my son's life was actually saved by an organ donor. Okay, so I'm not anti-organ donation, but I am anti people ending lives that aren't really over yet, which you see in some other countries. And so, yeah, it gets to be pretty dicey, man, when you get to those end of life moments. I mean, clearly what we're seeing up in Canada is the result of people not thinking biblically about these questions.
Well, yeah, dude, and it's crazy, and it's just like you can't give people just a free pass to kill themselves because dude, I saw this crazy stat. It's like 100,000 people have been euthanized since it's become legalized, and that's just like, you can't tell me that 100,000 people had like, and I don't even agree with it in this instance where someone is like terminally ill.
No.
And are just in excruciating pain, dying from cancer. I don't even believe in it then, but you can't tell me that is 100,000 of the cases. I mean, we just read a case where the husband opted to murder his wife. That is crazy. Like,
right. No, listen, man, dude, it's really insane. And it's like any of these, what would we like these dystopian medical digressions. I'm not going to call them advancements, okay, because they're not advancing towards anything good. But they're always pitched, whether it's the in utero terminating of a pregnancy. I don't want to get your channel banned here or get one of those labels on the bottom of it, but we know what we're talking about, right? The in utero ending of a pregnancy. All right, whether it's that or whether it's medical assistance in dying, or whether it's any of these transhumanist, or whether it's the
being poor.
What's that?
So Ohio Patriot has pointed out that MAID has killed 100,000 people, some for depression, some for being poor. Some people are just too poor to live. That's
just it. That's what they'll do up there is they will, if you've got some kind of a chronic condition, I've heard this, they'll send you something in the mail going, hey, these are your options. And the option is you can kill yourself. And sometimes there's not even another option given. And it's like, man, you're really, it's just a culture of death.
Yeah, culture of death. And that is exactly what happens when you let government run your healthcare. Is they're going to limit your options, especially if euthanasia is legalized. It's like, hey, it's much cheaper to end your life than it is to bring you in here and take care of you on the taxpayer's dime. So I'm not saying you have to end your life, but you should probably end your life. It's kind of how that goes. It's is Canada fallen? Is it done? Are they salvageable? Can we save Canada?
Can we save Canada? Yeah, through there are certain measures which we've been taking in other countries recently, which Iran comes to mind, for example. But I know we're going to talk about that later. But no, can we listen? I'll tell you the hardest thing about seeing all of this is that this is Western civilization, which was built on biblical principles, as I know you well know. You talk about this all the time, Jeremiah.
All the time.
We've been founded on biblical principles, and it's like there is this concerted effort to directly subvert all that is true, good, and beautiful and holy in the heart of Western civilization. So, honor your father and mother becomes euthanize grandma when she gets too hard to care for. Children are a blessing becomes my body, my choice. God made them male and female becomes, oh, I was born in the wrong body, or I don't feel like a woman today. I feel like a man. And we're going to base it off of feelings. It's all directly subversive of what the Bible teaches, and they're doing it at the heart of the Christian world. It's very subversive. It's very obvious to anyone who has eyes.
For sure. But according to this guy, it's easy to say until you're the one gasping for air in an incredible pain. That's still not an excuse for suicide. This guy says we're lying, even though I just showed you I just showed you an article where a guy had his wife killed because he didn't feel like taking care of her anymore. Like that's news, buddy. That's just what it is. It's just it's I don't know the history of Canada, and I don't know if they were built on biblical principles, if this is like something they have fallen to, or if this is just kind of the way they've always been.
It's part of the Anglosphere, and all of the, America is the pinnacle. If you ask me, America is the pinnacle of the English tradition, the English common law tradition, which has its roots in Anglo-Saxons, King Alfred, the different, I've been doing a deep dive into all this stuff, man. But you take all these traditions, the Magna Carta, and America is really the pinnacle of that. Our Constitution, Declaration of Independence, those founding documents really is the pinnacle of that tradition.
Yep.
And Canada, they've got their charter. They don't have a constitution like us, but it still comes out of the Christian world, the Christian Anglosphere. And I know that there's the French influence up there as well, but even that, I mean, the French adopted Catholicism, which is a form of the Christian worldview. I would say it's a corrupted version, but so yes, this euthanasia.
You just made, there's too many people here watching. I can't imagine who you just made angry with that statement.
I know, dude, but you knew you were going to get some of that with me coming.
I knew it. That's what I get for having a reformed debater on
that's
the
right.
podcast. Love it though. You're always very cordial to him. Always very cordial to him.
I try to be, man. But it is definitely a fall. What Canada is doing right now, and what we're starting to see in the U.S. as well, even in my own home state of Illinois, they're starting to introduce it.
Yeah, it needs to be killed in the legislatures. Just those bills need to die.
Yes,
for sure. But hey, we got a lot of y'all watching. Hit that thumbs up button while you're here. Share the show with everybody that you know on social media, and subscribe to me and Joel's channels. You can find me at Jeremiah Campana. You can find Joel at Think Debates and Think Institute.
Yes, the Think Institute. If you got to search for the Think Institute. I'm going to put that in my.
Yeah. Go ahead and drop that in the chat if you want. I got this next video here. Joel, as you may know, lefties are occasionally delusional, just occasionally though, right? So we have this, I don't know if you want to call her a Karen or what you want to call her, but she has some delusions of grandeur. I'm not sure. Let me, Okay. And I have to add it to the stage. That's what's going on here. Okay. So listen to this.
Mark my words, Obama is about to really step into power. It's really about to be amazing to watch him be the leader that this country needs. True maturity, healthy. I can't wait. I'm here for it. Mark my
I can't wait for Obama to step into power. And now she can't be talking about Barack, right? Unless he's planning some kind of military coup. She has to be talking about Michael. She has to be.
What is she talking about? This is like some Blue Anon stuff. This is like
the great conspiracy.
Right? Truly. Like what is that? Does she really think Obama is going to come back and be the president again? Like what is that? What kind of a delusion is that?
That is, well, Joel, you're on Facebook a lot, and I quit Facebook for a long time. I got back on just to get involved in my local community's Facebook pages. There's a lot of people like this on there that just believe just like the craziest stuff, like the military is about to come and crush all the No Kings protesters. Trump is going to declare martial law. Obama's going to take over. Which one? We don't know. I think she has to be like, I know leftists are mentally ill, but I mean, she has to be talking about Michael. She has to be talking about Michael.
I gotta say, to me, it's like, we live so much of our lives online now. And if you don't have a good connection to people that actually care about you, that you can actually have a conversation with and talk about these things,
Right.
This is what happens to the human psyche. Let me give you a verse for that. In Proverbs, it says, one who isolates himself seeks after his own desires and breaks out against all sound judgment. I think about that verse all the time. I think it's Proverbs 18:1. And if you are isolating yourself, you're not in community, especially with grounded people who can slap you upside the head if you start saying stupid stuff. You're gonna start having these wish fulfillment fantasies, or on the other side of that, it's the fear. It's either don't worry, there's a conspiracy for good, or there's a conspiracy for evil, and they're all gonna slaughter us or something. But this is where the isolated.
I'm more likely to believe the latter.
I am too. I definitely am too. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, you're right. Me and Alex talk about this on the show all the time. Discourse is dead. There is, I don't think there's a rift in this country that I don't think is ever going to be bridged, because how do you reason with somebody who just refuses to discuss things on a rational level, who refuses reality and objective facts? Like, I don't know how you're supposed to have a conversation with that person. And then there's a whole group of them that want to kill people like you and me, right? Straight white Christian men. How are we supposed to share a country with that? I don't see the communication bridge. Now, again, divine things can happen. Jesus could return, before it gets too crazy. I don't know, but as of right now, I don't see discourse. I don't see the bridges mending. I don't see, let's let bygones be bygones. Let's all be Americans again. I just don't see it.
So this is where we actually have such an advantage as believers, as followers of Jesus, because our religion was forged in an environment that was pretty similar to this. Actually, if you read First Peter, what you find out is that the Christians of Peter's day, so this is like first century, okay, this is like maybe the 50s AD, they were being accused of all kinds of horrible things, and people were not listening to them. There was polarization, but it was even worse because we sort of live on the ash heap, or the ruins of Christendom, though. So most people are at least somewhat familiar with Christian values. Back then, they weren't at all. And so Peter is giving them instructions on how to have discourse. That's what 1 Peter 3 is really all about, if you ever read it. If people read it, it's about how to have discourse that is gentle, that is respectful, that does not compromise on the truth, that sticks to the main thing, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ, the truth of the biblical worldview. But as Christians, we have this advantage, dude, because for 2,000 years, our book has been telling us how to speak with people who are unhinged and who hate us, even who want to kill us.
That's a good point. That's a good point. It's hard to argue with that logic. Amen. Y'all are Christians. Yes. And if I had a title for the show, you probably would have known that coming in here. But alas, me and Alex, guest host Joel Settecase, have not figured out a name for the show yet. But let's see what some people in the chat are saying here. Are you an atheist? No, we're Christians.
Definitely Christians.
I had some discourse with my wife the other day. She did the discourse and I did the admiring of the discourse.
Okay. Discourse means conversation. So that's good. You should have conversation with your wife. And that's what you should be talking about on family-friendly YouTube channels. That's what conversation is, what you should be talking about. So good for you.
Good for you. Yes, we're glad to have discourse with our spouses. Speaking of discourse, this is one grandma here that I personally would not want to mess with. This is actually a pretty crazy story. And let me share my screen again here. You can't see it because I got to bring it on the stage. There we go. Okay, listen to this, dude. This is wild.
The young man is in my home, broke the door, and
she's 80.
It's kind of semi-dark, and I'm alone, and I'm old, but guess what? I'm tough. And you want to know what happens? He picked the wrong house to break into. I took the table, and I went to working on him, and guess what? The table broke. and it
busted
had
the table
metal
over
legs,
his head.
and I'm jugging him. And when he's down, I'm jumping on him.
Come on.
And the telephone is still on for 911. I'm running in the kitchen. There's a bottle of baby shampoo on the table. I grabbed the shampoo, and guess what? He's still on the ground in his face, all of it, the whole thing. And he's trying to get up, and he's pulling. And I got
It's
the
no
ball,
tears though. It's no tears shampoo.
and I'm
Right.
hitting him. I'm
She should
hitting
have
him.
grabbed the tears. She should have grabbed the tears shampoo.
And guess what? He wants to get the heck out of there, and I'm trying to help him get out of the house, but
I'm
he's
sure.
too heavy. I can't move him. He's dead weight.
You picked up a table and busted
And at
his head.
that time,
He's too heavy.
The police arrive on the porch, and the house is already open, so they come in. He's laying down already, because I had really did a number on that man. I'm serious.
I like this lady.
Yes. I hope to be in my 80s as spry and in shape as she is.
You love to see it. You almost feel sorry for the home intruder there. Almost.
I
I mean, that's pretty humiliating, man. That's that's not something. How do you tell that to your robber buddies? Hey man, what happened? How'd you get so beat up?
Well, I went to grandma's house, and grandma was a powerlifting competitor. What does that look like as an old person? Joel, you I don't know if you still lift weights, but I know you did lift some heavy weights in your day. What it realistically is an 80-year-old woman putting up that is considered powerlifting?
Man, I don't know, but I tell you what, you can tell even how she's moving around. She is, you use the word spry. And so I have been seeing the benefit of exercise and exercising the right way lately. I think I told you I jacked up my shoulder skiing about a couple months ago.
Deadlift.
What?
225. Ohio Patriot always comes in the chat with like the fact checks. That's why we like she's a regular, and always dropping whenever we need like some knowledge. She finds it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's super impressive. 225. She looked little too. She looked like she probably didn't weigh more than $120, $130.
$120. Yeah. So she's deadlifting more than her body weight. Amazing. Now, Joel, we were talking about incompatible worldviews, and I'm thinking that this next video is probably, a group of people that, we might want to convince to assimilate into America. Should we ever let them in here? So let me get this next screen share going on, and there we go. All right, I'm starting to get the hang of this now.
Look at this. Look at this. Nice and smooth. Oh no, dude, no.
Dude.
No, I saw this. It filled me with rage.
Pity for these people. Like I can only watch so much of that because it's really disturbing.
That filled me with rage when I saw it. You should tell people what that is. I don't know if people can see what that was.
That was, according to this post,
it's a bunch of people. They're flinging goats up in the air.
Yeah, they're flinging goats into the air
and just letting them drop.
Yes.
And these goats, they're just hitting the ground and just laying there. And what in the world?
Yeah, those goats, I assume after the first few tosses were probably dead.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find what country this was.
I don't know. I saw some speculation, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't America. You'd get in big trouble for that.
For sure.
Animals.
For sure. Yeah, that wasn't exactly a funny video. But
it is. You mentioned the difference in worldviews. I mean,
dude.
Let me see if I can. I'm going to look that up too. But you know what?
While you're getting that pulled up, we got this guy. I've seen some cheating death videos before, but this guy definitely has Jesus looking out for him.
Okay, it looks like that might have been Spain.
Spain, okay.
It may have been Spain. Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
if it's what I'm looking at here, over the years, animal rights groups demanded an end to the practice of throwing the goat, but this is just one goat. It looks like they're not doing it anymore. So I don't know. Yeah, it looks like in Spain they stopped doing it.
good.
But
So if that was
anyway.
Spain, then that must be an old video then.
Either way.
Yeah. Either way. But check this guy out, dude. Talk about divine intervention here. Bro.
Core fear. That's a core fear.
Yeah, stepping off an elevator and having it drop
Elevators,
as you're stepping
man.
off.
I used to have a recurring dream about an elevator. A true, like, it was because you're in this little box, you just don't know what it's going to do. And look at that. Where was that from? Do we know?
That was in. Oh,
I thought it said.
I think it's India.
I thought it said India. Yeah.
Yep.
Good grief.
Yeah, dude. But okay, so I do have one more funny video that I'm gonna save to the end because it is, I think, gut busting hilarious.
All right.
So we'll end the show on that, but I do want to get to the devil himself, or maybe that's a little harsh on him, but he does speak demonic ideology.
He speaks for him. Yeah.
Yeah. He speaks for the devil, and his name is James Talarico. Let me pull up the first clip I have of him, because this was the one I think making the rounds. I think maybe even you might have commented on this one, where he talks about what his favorite story, why he loves the story of the Virgin Mary. Now, if you don't know James Talarico, those of you watching, by the way, if you're watching, hit that thumbs up button, share the show with everyone you know, and subscribe to both me and Joel's channels if you wouldn't mind, ladies and gentlemen. But James Talarico is a Democrat candidate for Senate. He just beat what's her name?
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett just beat Jasmine Crockett for the seat. A little controversy there because Stephen Colbert didn't give her any airtime, blamed Trump for it. And she said, no, it's actually not Trump's fault, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, she lost big time. And James is now the candidate. And he claims to be a Christian. And yet, if you listen to what this man says, it is he isn't a better replacement for Jasmine Crockett.
Right.
He is equally as bad, maybe even worse so, because Jasmine didn't throw Bible verses at us and pretend to be something that she's not. This guy is a wolf in sheep's clothing through and through. Let's watch this first clip and you'll see what I'm talking about here.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, I was getting the hang of it. There we go.
There we go.
Patriarchy. And she says, that little man in black there, meaning preacher types, that little man in black there, he says women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. I love that. That's sojourner truth. Jesus didn't just come from a woman. Jesus came from a revolutionary. Mary's story is possibly my favorite story in all of Scripture. An unwed peasant girl living under an oppressive empire brings God into the world. And when she does, she sings a song of revolution. She says her act of creation will scatter the proud, bring rulers down from their throne, lift up the lowly, feed the hungry, and send the rich away empty. She says her act of creation will bring freedom into the world. But if her act is to bring freedom, it has to be done freely. And so in the story we just read together, the angel of God tells Mary that she, a powerless woman, will bring the power of the universe into existence. And then Mary, in what may be the first recorded verbal consent in human history, says, "Behold, I am the Lord's servant. Let it be done to me as you say." Let it be done. Let it be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be.
He just quoted.
We only have Jesus because a woman consented to creating him. The story of Jesus, the story of Christianity, begins with a single, simple, extraordinary act of feminism.
That is just the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. First of all, he quoted a bunch of quotes from Mary that she never said there at the beginning.
Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, the power of the universe, her act of creation. I got to tell you, Mary does sing a song. It's a song called the Magnificat, and it's all about the Lord. It's not about Mary's act of creation. What was he talking about? Mary did not create the Lord. Mary was a vessel. Mary had a very honorable position as the mother of the Lord, but it wasn't her act of creation. What is he even talking about? And there's more too. I know you got to say something about that, but there's definitely more. I'm actually looking up the Greek of what he just said, so I want to hear what you have to say.
Well,
about
he's trying to paint a picture of, like, first of all, God is all sovereign, so he knew Mary was gonna be totally fine with what was happening in the first place. So I don't know where he's trying to paint a picture of why it's okay to be a pro-choice Christian, because if you don't consent to your pregnancy, then you can choose to murder that baby. But all these babies are being aborted after the creation happens in the first place, right? So his whole point falls flat.
Yes.
That he's even trying to get at. Like, it still doesn't even make any sense. Even if I grant you that she consented to have Jesus, well, she didn't then decide later she wants to kill baby Jesus, because that's what abortion is.
Right. 100%. It's like, to say that Mary agreeing with God, that what God said was going to happen, and Mary being on board with it, to say that somehow validates abortion. I said the word. Well, hopefully you're going to get a little banner under your video now, but so am I. But that's like saying, wow, Moses at the burning bush, he listened to God, and he consented to listen to God, and that means that Satan worship is okay, because he could have said no. He could have said, no, I'm going to go worship Satan. So that means Satan worship is okay. Like, that doesn't follow. To say that because Mary did the right thing, that therefore doing the wrong thing is therefore okay somehow, that doesn't follow. That's a total and complete non sequitur. It's a terrible position. You'd have to be respectfully to anyone who hears this, who agrees with him, but not very respectfully, because you have to be brain dead to think that way. Truly.
You literally do, though.
Morally brain dead. Mary said, may it be done to me as you have said. And that means that she would have been justified murdering the Lord. It's pure. It's a travesty of moral reasoning, an absolute travesty.
Absolute travesty. And Kara Smith is right. He was begotten, not made. And
that's right.
The only white pill of watching that video, the only glasses half full thing you can say about that video, was that he was talking to about a dozen boomers. It wasn't like a packed house. So thank goodness for that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Thank goodness for that. So very few people heard his message. It's he is going to he's sly, man. He's sly. He knows how to talk. He's a politician through and through. Yeah. So he is going to make his version of Christianity, which is not the biblical version of Christianity, sound really convincing to some folks, I think.
Yeah, it's very sly. You're right. Because look, even there, he uses words like consent. First of all, what Mary was doing there is glorifying the Lord and submitting to his will. So he didn't use the word submission. That's a bad word to him. to that side.
And
right?
and to Elijah G. Davis as well, because he thinks we're upset that he used the word consent.
Right. What Mary does here is so much bigger than consent. She submits to the will of Almighty God. As we all should. And that took incredible faith. There's no question. But it's like you said earlier, Jeremiah, God knew exactly what she was going to do. God had appointed her for this exact moment and knew exactly how she would respond. He chose her for this, and Mary submits to the will of God. And she submits to the will of God. She submits to the changes that are going to be taking place in her body. She marries Joe. He says man had nothing to do with it. I think Saint Joseph might have a little bit of an issue with that, considering he submitted to the Lord as well, agreed. Joseph, in a lot of ways, is the hero of the story, because Joseph agrees to marry Mary, to wed Mary, knowing that he's going to face an entire lifetime of shame, because everyone is going to think that child who doesn't look anything like him is the result of adultery. But Joseph takes that on, valiantly continues to care for Mary, to support Mary, and now to support Jesus and the other brothers and sisters who come along. And yes, they do come along. And Joseph has a lot to do with it. Joseph is involved too. No, he's not bearing the child, but this isn't a great feminist fairy tale or something like that.
No. And to think so, you have to be somebody who's never read your Bible in your entire life, or you've read it with approximately zero understanding of what you're reading. That's the only way you could come to the same conclusions as James Talarico. I do have another video. I mean, this guy is just full of blasphemy left and right. Let's check out this. I'll make sure.
People, I will say though, people eat this stuff up. People who don't like thinking biblically, who don't like the implications of what it would mean to follow Jesus and take up your cross every day, they eat this stuff up because it gives them a license. It puts a shiny biblical veneer and says God approves of wickedness, so be as wicked as you want.
Oh yeah, tickles the ears, right? It's not what you need to hear, it's what you want to hear.
That's right. Real biblical truth. It's hard.
This is what I want from Christianity. It doesn't matter what Christianity actually is. This is what I want from it. Yep.
Right. And there are even men who hear this guy and they go, "Oh yeah, that's great, because then I can live however I want, right? I can sleep with whoever I want. There's no consequences because we'll just get an abortion and it's okay."
We don't consent to the baby.
We don't consent. The baby, creation requires consent. Creation, well, never mind the fact that the baby's already been created. So the time for consent is now over. Now you got a human life. But forget about that, because James Talarico is my Bible scholar now. He's my daddy. James Talarico is my daddy, and I'm just going to listen
Thomas
to
Aquinas in the flesh. That's
right.
But listen to what he says here.
Christianity points to the truth. I also think other religions of love point to the same truth. I think of different religious traditions as different languages. So you and I could sit here and debate what to call this cup, and you could call it a cup in English, you'd call it something else in Spanish and French, but we are all talking about the same reality. I believe Jesus Christ reveals that reality to us, but I also think that other traditions reveal that reality in their own ways with their own symbol structure. And I've learned more about my tradition by learning more about Buddhism and Hinduism and Islam and Judaism. And so I see these beautiful faith traditions as circling the same truth about the universe, about the cosmos. And that truth is inherently a mystery.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is it a truth that can be known, or is it a mystery? Which is it, James?
Seriously.
We're all circling the same truth, but that truth is a mystery. So I don't know what we're circling. What the heck are you even talking about?
It's totally incoherent. And you know what else? It's completely and utterly intolerant. Imagine this. Imagine you're a devout Muslim. You believe that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. And then you hear James Talarico tell you that your religion is not the true religion. No. It's just one of many ways. And the true God is not Allah. It's something else that's mysterious. So what James Talarico is doing is he's saying all religions are equally false. They're all actually, and not only that, but they're incoherent. And not only that, but whatever the God is at the top of the mountain, he's a liar. Because that God at the top, according to James Talarico, all religions are equally valid. So that God at the top of the mountain is responsible for all of these completely contradictory religions. The God at the top of the mountain, for him, is a liar. He's incoherent. He's responsible for thousands of years of religious bloodshed. If you ask me, James Talarico's God sounds a lot more like Satan than the God of the Bible.
Oh, it sounds exactly like Satan, who comes to steal, kill, and destroy, who is the father of lies. I
Yes.
mean,
Right.
It just,
And that's on his own terms,
Right.
terms, like based on what he says. He's the one saying this mysterious God is responsible for all these contradictory religions. And he just hopes that nobody out there knows anything about the religions. Like he's preying on ignorance. Do you
For
see what I'm
sure.
saying?
For
He's
sure. 'Cause if
hoping that you will be ignorant.
Right. And he himself, I mean, again, I'm doubting that he's ever read his Bible, because Jesus says nobody comes to the Father but through me. So
Amen.
if that is true, well, then you can't get there through Islam. You can't get there through Buddhism or
That's right.
Hinduism or whatever other religion you want to throw in there.
That's
There's
right.
only one way to get there. Your Bible says so. So if you don't believe that, then
yeah, and it's the Father too. Jesus says no one comes to the Father. Well, guess what? In Islam, Allah is not a father, and in Buddhism, there is no God. Most forms of Buddhism are actually atheistic. In Hinduism, God is not a father. God is all one. You're God and I'm God. There's no distinction between God and not God. Jesus says there is a God. He's the Father. I'm the only way to get to him. And by the way, I'm the Son. So James Talarico can have the words of Jesus, or he can have incoherent lies. You can't have both.
you can't have both. And yes, Larry, you can be all of these things, but only one of them is true.
That's right.
If you claim to be a Christian, you cannot pretend that the other things are true.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and here's my final clip of James Talarico,
Right.
spewing his nonsense. Joel, I think you're going to love this one.
Oh boy.
Is both masculine and feminine and everything in between.
Whoa.
God is non-binary. Is both masculine.
God is non-binary, brother.
Of course. Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, he has to be because the Bible, which was written between 3,500 and 2,000 years ago, clearly had the modern democratic platform in mind when all the authors were writing.
For sure. How is Christianity more valid than any other? Well, because the Bible says so.
Yeah, and it's true. Christianity is more valid because it's true. So, if you really want to get into it, I mean, we can talk about why the Bible is the epistemological foundation necessary for making sense of the universe. We can certainly do that, but hear what James Talarico is saying. He's not saying that some other religion is more valid, like Islam or some established religion. What he's saying is that all religions are false, and he alone knows the truth, because he alone knows that they're all deceptive, but there's a mystery that none of them get you all the way there, or they're just languages, but there's some other reality. But guess what? That's not what the religions claim. They don't claim to be one way up the mountain. They claim to be the way. So what James Talarico is doing is he's not saying, oh, one religion is more valid than the other. He's saying, essentially what he's saying is tantamount to, I alone have the truth. Everyone else on earth is wrong. He's claiming to have almighty knowledge or omniscient knowledge. He's essentially claiming the knowledge of God while denying God. So yeah, we can talk. I mean, we can talk about what makes Christianity
is there a
valid.
word for that in the Bible?
I think there is. I think there's a few words for it. Which one are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Antichrist.
I was thinking of blasphemy, but yeah,
okay,
sure.
Yeah. A type of Antichrist.
For
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and it's true. And this is why I'm glad you're pulling up these clips, man, because I didn't know what we were going to get into tonight. I mean, I had sort of a loose idea, but when it comes to these clips, what we need to do is we need to remember we have to think biblically about these things, especially because he's claiming Christianity for himself. So we don't have to invent anything like what he's doing. We can just go straight to the scriptures and see what it says. And, it might sound like we're getting very worked up over this or whatever. I mean, obviously we're laughing, we're having a great time, but at the end of the day, this is eternal life and death.
For sure.
If you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, as the Lord and Savior, the only one, you're going to spend eternity under God's condemnation. And we care about that.
Yeah, we do care about that. Speaking of, we don't care if you are a fan of the show or if you're a hater. Go ahead. If you're a hater, hit that hate thumbs up button. If you're a fan of the show, hit that thumbs up button. Share the show with everybody you know, include your mom, your dad, your cousins, your uncle's former roommates. And subscribe to both me, Jeremiah Campana, and Joel Settecase at the Think Institute, at the Think Debates as well, if you want to see him take more of these theological topics. And every Monday night, he's going to pummel atheists and you name the false religion, he will pummel you too. Again, my words, not his. He's more humble than I am. So
I do not say I'm pummeling anybody. I'm just here. I'm just a humble guy with a Bible trying to help people.
Real talk though. I have seen 2 people come to Christ through Joel's debate streams, and I've watched a lot of debate streams. Maybe there is evidence of that in other debate streams. I haven't seen it, but it's amazing what Joel is doing. So make sure you head over there and hit that subscribe button.
I appreciate that. I really do.
But I don't know how many topics we got left to get to here, Alex. So I'm gonna go through what I can. Trump said something today. In fact,
you just called me Alex.
Alex, did I just call you Alex?
Unbelievable.
You look just like him.
Well, that is true. Listen, it's high praise. I take it as a compliment. I take it. But people out there are going to be very confused. They're going to go, this guy's he's got no X's in his name. Alex has 57 X's. Yes.
Democrat Christian is an oxymoron. That is true. I will go on record as saying, if you are a Christian, you have an obligation to never vote Democrat in your life. You're either in that party trying to reform it, or you're abstaining from that party altogether. So you are absolutely correct. I'm going to say Diva, D1VA. I'm going to say that's trying.
Let me add something to that.
Numbers.
Let me add something to that, because for folks who are watching on the Think Institute or our channels right now, we don't endorse political parties, candidates, or initiatives. But here's what I want to tell you. So whatever Jeremiah says, that's on him. That's not me talking, not one way or the other. But you know what I'm going to tell you, which is that you need to be approaching these questions straight in a biblical way, looking through the Bible at every single issue. So if there's a candidate who is promoting the killing of the unborn, the mutilation of children, or even adults, the promotion of suicide, the unbiblical categories and roles for men and women, you have a moral obligation not to throw your support behind that person. Now, does that mean you got to support his alternative? That's for you and the Lord to decide. Talk to your pastor, and I can talk with you about that as well offline. But we got to be thinking biblically about this stuff, my friends.
You got to be thinking biblically about it. If your conscience won't let you vote for the other guy, then I feel like you're obligated to write somebody in, because I feel like as the civil magistrates, which we are a part of in this country of America, you do have a duty to participate in your government, because God put us here in this government, and according to Romans 13, we have a duty under that government, and we are part of it, as me and you, as citizens. So that's my stance on it. I do think if you're choosing between 2 evils, typically most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, the lesser is lesser enough that you can pull that vote for them. But if not, if your state allows write-ins, then I think you're obligated to write somebody, and you are obligated to participate in some way, shape, or form. But that's
I respect your position on that, man. I really do. I mean, I know this is something you're very passionate about, and I know that it flows out of your Christian faith. You want to make the world a better place. That's a very evangelical desire. That's a very Christian desire. We're not just hanging out waiting for Jesus to come back. He's given us work to do. And that work extends into the workplace. It extends into the church sphere, the ecclesial sphere, the political sphere, the social sphere, in your private life, in your family. Jesus wants us to obey him in every area. So you can't just say, oh, that's just political. It's like saying, oh, that's just family. Jesus doesn't apply into my family. I don't have to worry about the family. It's like, no, these are spheres of influence God's given us.
Yeah, when Jesus said to be salt and light, like your light can't shine if it's hidden under depending on a basket, depending on what translation you're reading, whatever you're putting on top of that light. But he didn't say go be salt and light. But when it comes to politics, go ahead and cover that light up. Don't worry about it.
Right? No, it's all of Scripture, the whole biblical worldview applied to everything, and that includes The talking points that people always try to give over to the Democrats, for example, immigration. You know, they think that open borders policies are somehow more biblical or something like that. It's like, no, but we might need to explain that a little bit more. We might need to unpack that a little bit more and to show you what the Bible actually says about assimilation and nation states, which, by the way, the idea of a nation state comes from the Bible. That was not something that humanity used to know about. There was empires and dueling fiefdoms, nation states with secure borders. That actually comes from Scripture. So anyway.
Speaking of nation states, that is a good segue because Trump said something today that a lot of his base are a little angry about. There's actually two things he said today that really got people riled up.
Okay.
And one of them does have to do with immigration. Let me, yeah, buddy.
All right.
It got me a little riled up, but I usually get riled up and then I calm down, try to think rationally about it. So let's see and hear what Donald Trump had to say.
Look at the windows. Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people who are getting out. And we have a lot of heart. They said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now, the criminals. And I think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you see a story, we take somebody. He should be out because they came in illegally. So in theory, they should be. But we're focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally insane killers. I mean, you can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason, but you can't even reason. These are seriously ill people. You have a couple of countries where they were loaded up. Their mental institutions and insane asylums were loaded to the gills. They couldn't get. They're empty now, but they're filling up because we're bringing them all back. We know where they came from, and every country accepts them. You know, under Biden, they wouldn't say. They had so little respect.
You could say the same thing about a lot of leftists.
They wouldn't take them. They said, "Get the hell out of here." They would be bringing a plane in to land in a country.
So. Here's the thing. A lot of people are taking that as he is now soft on immigration.
For sure. I mean, people are going to say that 100%. What do you think about that?
Well, I never know what to think because Trump often will say something and then change his mind a week later because he has said this before.
Yeah.
Earlier in his presidency, and then he walked it back and was like, now we're deporting everybody. Because he got a lot of backlash out of it. I want to say maybe even Charlie Kirk was still alive when he said that and kind of walked it back. But no, I'm full. Get him. Look, Biden let 20 million people in here. 3 million deported is not enough.
Right.
You need, by the end of your term, I want to see 3/4 of that number deported. I don't care if they're criminals or not, because by definition, you are a criminal by coming in here illegally. That's objective fact. And we need to get things right here before we can open the borders again. Now, I will say that the borders have been shut down, right? I don't know why he fired Kristi Noem, because Kristi Noem, from what I understand, is the reason her border policy is the reason nobody's crossed. Like literally, dude. Like we've had the most secure border in American history.
Yes.
And I think Kristi Noem played a part in that. So yes, we're more other presidents, and me and Alex had this conversation I think last week actually, where it's like other presidents have deported more people, but people were just coming in still.
Yeah,
constantly. So
right, yeah. They didn't turn off the spigot like what Trump has done, or Kristi Noem. I didn't realize that she had such a prominent role in that. Of course, it makes sense
for sure. And to Ohio Patriots' point, he did say, "Right now we're focused on the criminals." So he did leave himself an out. Like, okay, we focused on the criminals. Now we're going to deport, other people. So I don't know, man. It's I don't like to hear that talk because I want balls to the wall. Pardon my French. What happened in Minnesota was unfortunate, but I don't care. Like, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to look bad, especially because the resistance and the cameras. No president in history had people following around ICE agents and trying to disrupt them while they're doing their job. Like, it's going to.
That's by design. That's what. That's what the left wants to happen. That's the same reason why all these schools. Well, this is me speaking very cynically, but it's what happens when all these schools are pouring their students, high school students, out into the streets to protest now. This became like a big trend a week or two ago. All these high schools are pouring their kids out. What do you think is going to happen? And sure enough, kids started getting hit by cars, and it's like they're trying to create martyrs for the cause. And I hate to be so cynical about this. Okay. I want to think the best of people. I really do. But what do you think is going to happen when you put people in harm's way like that? It's not right. And it's not only is it's morally wrong, but biblically speaking, we are to be subject to the governing authorities. And I know that Romans 13 was trotted out a ton during COVID, but what you saw, and so I get that. But what you saw during COVID was tyranny taking over. It was evil being promoted and rewarded, and goodness being stifled and stuffed away.
Defying God's command. They were defying God's command. They were not obeying Romans 13.
That's right. Exactly right. Yes. So now it's like, well, look, a nation has the right to have its own immigration policy. And that doesn't mean that you and I, as believers, as individual believers, like, we don't treat illegal immigrants as subhuman or something like that, right? Like, I'm talking about in our personal interactions, Jeremiah. We're not like spitting on them, insulting them. No, we bring them the love of Jesus Christ, 100%. But that doesn't mean enabling people to break the law. That's actually not moral for us to do that. So, there's a difference between what I do as an individual citizen versus what I would have to do if I were a magistrate, entrusted with the authority and duty to carry out the nation's laws and to execute those. And people don't think in these categories. Everything is all mushed together because we just can't think clearly about this stuff anymore.
Hold up. We just got a super chat. We never get super chats on this show, so I got to read it real quick. But you did make some great points, Joel. How much for Triple J?
Triple J.
Oh, man. No, you know what? It's funny you brought that up. I'm not going to do it here, but I am going to call. If you guys, again, Monday nights, Joel Debates Monday nights, you might see me pop up on one of those to debate my guy Joel here, and Jason, who is a member of the Hammer and Anvil Society, which I am also a member of.
Yes.
Joel, if you want to really quick talk about the Hammer and Anvil Society before we get to the next.
Absolutely, thing. And thank you, and Jason, thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Jason's good people, man. I like that guy. So the Hammer and Anvil Society is the premier men's fellowship for guys who are wanting to take their faith very seriously, pass it on to the younger generation, and become better equipped to answer all the questions that come from your kids, your own heart, your wife, and the world at large. And so it's a place for men to connect together in fraternal fellowship and brotherhood. We do weekly cohort calls. There's an educational aspect to it. There's a 34-week course, which we've been building with videos and challenges and all that stuff. So you're going to be challenged. You're going to be encouraged. You may get a nickname that might be insulting or it might not. Okay, but that's just the way it goes. And we're probably going to rip on you, and you're going to rip on me, and that's just how it works. But it's an amazing group, and the guys who are in there are just really great quality guys. It's been a blessing for me. We've been doing it now for over 2 years, and it's been amazing. But yeah, Jason's a part of that. Of course, you are. I am. Triple X, Alex is as well, and it's good. It's a good group.
For sure.
Oh, and so if you want to check it out, just if you search for the Hammer and Anvil Society, you'll find it. But if you go to thethink.institute/society, you can find it there too.
I would agree with we are all mad here. I mean, back in the day, the only people allowed to vote were landowners, et cetera. Now we let low IQ people in the booth. I completely agree with you. I think there needs to be some kind of civics test or something to eliminate the low IQ people from voting. That's a different topic for a different day.
I don't know Joel, about that. I want to talk to you about that at some point because I go back and forth on that. I really do.
Sure. Yeah, we can have a discussion about that at some point after I debate you on your Monday show one of these days. But no, anytime. Yeah, reach out. I will definitely have a conversation with you on that. If you want to have it on your show, we can do that as well. Cool. But you kind of gave us the theological reasoning behind immigration, etc. Well, how do you personally feel about what Trump said there, though?
Okay, so I think that it's a political statement. I think that what he's doing is he's trying to release the pressure valve a little bit and just remind everybody what ICE, Immigration's Custom Reform, Immigration's Custom Enforcement is trying to do, which is when he says criminals, yes, everybody who comes in here illegally is definitionally a criminal. And by rights, they should be, they should go back. Okay, they just should, like, from a legal perspective, that's not a controversial statement. But what Trump is doing is he's trying to remind us, this is how I see it. He's trying to remind us, I'm going for the people who are harming you and your family. And I mean physically harming you. I'm going for this isn't like they took our jobs. Okay, that's a legit thing. But this is, no, they're actually hurting people. And they have the potential to hurt people. So we're going to send them back. And that, I think, is a politically wise thing to do. I don't think it needs to end there from a legal perspective, but I think that it was politically the right move. And someone pointed this out, but he does say right now. And those two words, I think, open the door for further enforcement later on.
Fair enough. That's a fair point.
But what do you think about that? I mean, am I right? You're the political guy. What do you think?
Again, I want chains unleashed. So
you want to just get them all out.
Get them all out, man, just because of the devastation that it's had under it's just crazy what was happening under Joe Biden. He was literally spending tax money to fly them over here. Catholic NGOs were facilitating hundreds of thousands of people across our border. It's like nothing. I mean, this country, if Trump did not get elected, regardless of what you think about him, it is a fact this country would have been destroyed. So I do think you need to target the criminals. But I think if you're only focused on that, you're missing the broader picture here, because this needs to happen fast, because we may never get a chance at this again, right? Trump has only got a few more years left. Okay. And then he's done, and we don't know what's going to happen after that. So we need to just go, baby, go.
Yeah. And that's such a good point. And, people will point to things, and I can see the comments coming in, but people will point to things. They'll say, well, illegal immigrants, they commit crimes at a lower rate than citizens. Okay. First of all, let's grant that for the sake of argument. And being here illegally is a crime already. So that I don't grant the premise in actual terms, but let's just say for the sake of argument, that's true. If they're not supposed to be here and they commit one crime at all, that's one hurt person, one stolen item, one broken window that should not have happened because they weren't supposed to be here. So you can't say they do it less. They're adding more. And that's and they're doing so in an illegal way. And that's not, we don't give people citizenship because they behave themselves. There's a process. Correct. That's not so. You can make whatever argument you want, but there are laws. And the question really, and this is what Charlie Kirk used to do so well, is he should say, should a nation be able to enforce its own immigration laws? So, things like that. And if not, like, should we deport anybody? Should we deport anybody? And if not, you have to make that case. You have to make a case for completely changing the laws. And you know what? Guess what? There are processes for changing laws. There are. We could make open borders the law of the land, but it's not. It's not. And the magistrate has the ability, as long as it's not an ungodly law, which it's not, the magistrates have not only the ability, but the duty to carry out those laws, to execute them. I mean, don't you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. In fact, you just reminded me of one of my favorite verses in Acts, which said he created the nations, and I'm paraphrasing the verse here, and cut out their borders. Like, he made their borders, like God made the nations and gave them borders. So, unfettered immigration is not biblical. That doesn't mean you treat people like garbage, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to enforce your border laws. Like, this is just common sense to most people. I would think that this is common sense. In fact, most Americans are for deportations. Now, you saw a little pushback after what was going on in Minnesota again, because all the cameras were there, and you never had protesters protesting ICE before, ever, not under Obama or Bush or Clinton or any of them.
Right.
You never saw things like that. So I think some people's minds may have been like, just a little irk from what they had seen, and maybe kind of toned down a little bit. But the vast majority of Americans agree that we need to regulate our borders and we need to deport illegal immigrants. Some people,
and that's the law. That's the law. And you can make a moral case for it as well. The government's responsibility is to its own people. If there are people here who aren't definitionally, legally under the jurisdiction of our country, then they shouldn't be here, because this is a country where we are ruled by the laws of the United States of America. And if you're not under those laws, you're not a citizen, you're not here legally, you are trying to operate in some kind of a parallel system. And just like, I'm so glad you brought up Acts 17, because Acts 17 is a great passage. It actually says that God appointed the times and the boundaries for where each person would live, and God made every nation from one man. And so, again, we don't treat these people like they're subhuman or whatever. Right. No, they're just as human as me and you, but we live in a world where there are nations and laws. These are appointed by God. We can have compassion on them, even while we say, look, God bless you. We might even send you with some resources, but you have to go back. You have to go back.
You have to go back. And Joel, there were people angry and this was, I believe, last year. They had arrested a bunch of illegal immigrants on a pot farm in California and found child slave labor there. And there was leftists protesting that. It's like they want their slave labor.
I remember that.
Yeah. Like, well, you hear leftist politicians all the time. Well, who's going to pick our berries? Like,
how about you go out and pick them?
You go pick them. Like the elites just want their cheap slave labor, because if you pay an illegal immigrant under the table cheap, then that is a legal person here who didn't get a job at the fair wage that he deserves or she deserves.
Yeah. And you want to talk about consent. Remember we were talking about consent earlier with James Talarico. Did that young child consent to work as a slave in that pot farm? That's a very degrading lifestyle. That child deserves better than that. That child doesn't deserve to be made a slave like that. I mean, that really makes me sick, man, when people are abusing kids like that. So yeah, no, and we shouldn't create an environment where that kind of thing is being incentivized by just having an open border, saying, come on in and do whatever you want. Well, don't worry, we won't ask any questions. You can live under the radar in a parallel legal system. That's not biblical. It's not right.
Not biblical at all. You two are children. Well, thank you. Will Dean, my favorite hater. This is Will Dean's often in the chat.
Children of God.
Yeah. In fact, I think he gave us the name. I think he's Two Crying White Boys. I think he said should be the name of the show. And me and Alex are actually considering that. I thought that was a decent name.
It's not a bad name. You can do a lot worse than that. That's like
do a lot worse.
Somebody I debated one time. We were talking about scripture, and I was very much in favor of scripture, and he started calling me Joel Scriptura. Like that is a nickname that I will keep with pleasure.
That's a good one. You need to change your X handle to that.
Joel Scriptura. It's not a bad
idea. That's all we have time for today, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I do have one video to send us out on.
Okay.
We've been talking about these heavy topics, and I promised y'all at the beginning of the show that I had something funny to share with you at the end. So we're going to end on that news. I'm sorry we didn't get to Iran. I'm sure the Iran war is going to go on for plenty of time for us to talk about next week. Join us here every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my normal host, Alex, co-host, is here. Joel is filling in tonight. He did a great job. Applause for Alex, everybody. Good job. Or applause for Joel.
No, for Alex. You said it right. For applause for Alex.
Yeah, no, applause for Alex, because he's the man. So let me find this. And folks, while you're here, please, if you haven't yet, that thumbs up button needs you to smash it. You need to smash that thumbs up button. Even if you hate like us, subscribe to our channels if you're not already, and share the show with everyone and they mama.
I just banned a guy, by the way.
Okay.
It was on my channel. He was, so you probably didn't, you probably couldn't even see it, but he was,
I see. Yeah.
There's a level where the slander gets so high that it's like, no, you got to go.
Yeah. I need moderators in my chat too. I don't have any. So
really?
If anyone gets wild in my chat, I gotta find them.
I tell you what, man, Slam RN1. I won't tell you her real name, but she's been great. She stepped up and she'll come onto my live streams and she'll,
I'll make go when you make a, well, we'll talk about this offline. But yeah, I do need a moderator. But let me go ahead and share this final video for y'all. This is probably one of the funniest, not Price is Right, but Wheel of Fortune moments that I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
And you're going to see why here in just a minute. As soon as I figure this out. Here we go. Okay. Prepare yourself.
I'll buy a bell.
Okay.
An O.
2 O's.
I'll solve.
Okay, before she solves, Joel, do you know what this is?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Should I say it? I mean, it's
Okay.
Another feather in your hat.
no
Christopher.
Poor Christopher.
cap, right? I mean, it's got to be cap.
6:50.
No, with this hat.
G. No G.
What?
Thomas.
What? What? What do you think it was bad?
Wait, Thomas doesn't even get a chance.
Oh, the bankrupt concert.
Oh,
All right, have another
should've
shot
just
at it.
solved.
You
Why
can
didn't he
spin the wheel and
solve?
Try to solve the puzzle.
I'll solve.
Okay.
Another feather in your lap.
No!
No. Although the feather is moving around.
What?
Christopher.
In your lap. You know the old saying, another feather in your
Yeah,
lap.
that old song.
900. D.
D.
No.
Your dad. What would that be?
Thomas, I think the wheel
Oh,
got.
Thomas.
Laura, you have another
Bankrupt, lost
opportunity
a
here. You
turn.
can spin the wheel. You can
Poor
try to solve
Thomas.
the puzzle. What do
Thomas
you
is the
wanna
only
do?
one who can get it.
Go ahead and spin if you don't know.
I'm
it.
gonna go ahead and
yeah,
spin.
Don't get buzzed out here on time.
People were all public schooled.
These people were all
Well,
in
what
public school.
letter would you like?
A P.
Okay.
Yes, there's a P.
All right,
Okay.
come on. You can do it.
Spin or solve.
I
Please.
will solve.
Okay.
Please.
Another feather in your map.
No!
Christopher, it's your turn.
What?
There's all those feathers in those maps that you buy. Oh no.
Oh my goodness. The bankrupt
You-
got you.
You gotta be
Thomas, you have
kidding
no
me.
money. I don't know what you want to spend. You can try to
This is the most excruciating
This is so
minutes
sad.
in history.
So what letter would you like?
A
Is
C.
there a C up there anywhere? There you go.
There we go.
Y'all
Come
saw.
on.
Another feather in your cap.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez, buddy.
Amazing. Amazing.
Amazing.
I don't know if like being up there, you just kind of like the lights and the audience, maybe it just makes people go nuts. I don't know. Maybe it blanks them out.
It, another feather in your map. You know, I remember
old
buying my
saying.
first map, all them
There's-
feathers.
Yeah, it's like they always say, another feather in your some word that has a D. You know,
In your, yeah, what was he thinking?
in
Dad.
your
Dap.
dad. Another feather in your dad. Sad.
Oh man, folks, thank you so much for watching.
We did
again,
get
hit the
another-
thumbs up.
Michael Rogers actually sent a super chat. Another good
Oh, he did.
hammer and anvil
Oh,
brother.
Let's
And are
read.
these, I don't.
Have
I
you
think
voted
these.
the Think Institute as the best reformed podcast yet? That's a good question, folks.
Hop
Have you?
on. Hop on over to Twitter. I posted the link. If people go in the chat, I did post the link earlier. But thanks, Mike. So this is another hammer and anvil guy. One of our brothers in there. Good dudes, man. I'm telling you what, the best guys. The best
The
guys.
best
are in the Hammer
guys.
and Anvil
My
Society.
guys. My guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, thumbs up, share, subscribe to both Joel's channels and my channels, Jeremiah
Do it.
Campana. That's where you will find me under at Jeremiah Campana. I just did a video. Okay. I am listen, a lot of y'all are probably not gonna believe me when I tell you this. I am the most reasonable Christian Zionist that you'll ever hear. And I did a video commenting on Tucker Carlson's anti-Christian Zionism over on my channel. So go and check that out. I'm telling you, it's the most reasonable take that you're ever going to hear on that subject. So go check that out. Joel, what do you got coming up?
We always got stuff coming up, but this coming Monday, I do have another debate stream, which you can watch on the Think Debates channel. So if you just simply go to @ThinkDebates, you got to put the in because we're not big enough yet. It's still a small fledgling little channel. We've got 400 subscribers, and We're doing a debate stream Monday night, 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern. That's 8 p.m. California time. And we're going to be taking all comers, man, just like how we do it. We have atheist, agnostics. Some of the people that are in your chat would be perfect for the Think Debates debate coming up.
Indeed.
It doesn't matter. If you love James Talarico, you think he's the bee's knees and you love his worldview, you come on and we'll treat you right. We're not gonna treat you poorly. All right. We're gonna show you gentleness and respect, but we are going to.
He's not gonna curse you out like Andrew Wilson, I promise.
No, we won't. I like listening to Andrew Wilson, but no, we've got a very different approach from Andrew Wilson. That's right. Or even Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh will let an F-bomb fly here and there. And I got a lot of respect for Walsh. Evangelical, we welcome anybody to join. Monday.
Good deal. Good deal. You were crashing out on me there. I don't know if your connection's interrupting, but yes, folks, thank you so much for joining us tonight. God bless you all, the lovers and the haters. We love both of you. Christ and liberty over everything. Until next time, God bless.
God bless.